thank you very much for joining us today. I know we were supposed to catch up originally during GITEX, but the connectivity let us down a little bit. So maybe let's just have start by having a little recap on what Software AG were up to this year at GITEX.
Yeah, so GITEX, this past edition of GITEX, it's just a few weeks ago, but it just seems so far back already. It was our 7th participation in a row in GITEX, and it was very, very successful. Looking back now, very successful participation. I would even say it's probably one of our best out of the 7. Obviously, like many other participating vendors, we contemplated and had a hard look on whether to participate or not. And just before the show, given the precautions that were being taken, given that we had utmost confidence in the organization ability to really run a show safely, professionally, and in a way that minimizes the impact of the pandemic. We decided to participate, and I have to say we're very glad we did. I think, first of all, it was a refreshing experience to go back to the excitement of shows, to the buzz, to meeting customers, to meeting partners. That's one side of it. The other side, I think GITEX really was a genuine catalyst for our business leading up to the end of the year, which is the most crucial time for us in a fiscal year. We had a lot going on in GITEX. With that said, I think one of the highlights of the show we had was something we called the Digital Disruptors Award. It's something we kicked off in GITEX 2020, and it was a collaboration between us as a technology player and academia. So we invited universities to participate in a program by which the best way I can call it is unleash the students' imagination using cutting edge technology, and see what comes out of it. So we kind of took a leap of faith with these students, and the results were absolutely sensational, I have to say. Was one of the highlights of GITEX as a whole. 3 use cases were presented by the students, and many of our booth visitors, customers, were looking at us in disbelief. Is this really something these guys did, and in this short time frame? And the truth was it was. So ironically, I have to say the best thing we had to show in GITEX was something we didn't even do, and that's the way we like it. It's getting the imaginative minds out there to innovate, to come up with use cases that can be deployed and used in real life scenarios. And I can tell you one thing in this interview actually is that we have decided to make that award a staple going forward, and only that in 2021 it will be throughout a longer period with much more participation from academia, and culminating in a awards ceremony, possibly a gala dinner if circumstances permit, in GITEX 2021.
Fantastic. So is that Digital Disruptors Award, is that open to students here in the UAE or in the broader GCC, or is it an international thing?
It's a UAE-based program or initiative. And in a little bit more detail, the way this works is we invite universities, and we ask them to assemble a team of students, hopefully the best and the brightest. And all we do is we train these students. We give them very basic training on our IoT platform, Cumulosity. and some of the supporting technologies as well. And we offer them guidance in the weeks leading up to GITEX with an objective of 3 shortlisted universities out of all the participating colleges will get the chance to exhibit with us in GITEX. So we also assembled a judging panel to select the winners out of leading IT figures in the UAE. And the winner was announced on day 3, if I remember correctly, of GITEX, and the winner was Rochester Institute of Technology. But in my view, all 3 did a fantastic job, and all 3 were worthy winners of this award.
It's great to hear that you're sort of investing in the next generation of technicians and investing in academia like that. We'll keep our eyes peeled for the next issue of that in 2021. Obviously, one of the big, well, by far the biggest talking points of 2020 was the pandemic. How's the pandemic affected what Software AG has been doing over the last year, and also looking forward to what you'll be doing next year?
Well, obviously, the first effect is that we had to change the way we're working, and we had to give immediate focus to the safety and health of our employees. So, like everybody else, we moved to a remote working setup. We did that swiftly and briskly and with minimal disruption. And our next focus was the continuity of the services we offer to our customers. Again, that's something we moved quickly on, and looking back, I think it's something that went very smoothly in the early days of the pandemic. And one of the things we all learned during the pandemic is that things that we thought are very difficult to do, like remote delivery of technology projects, and that was something of a big debate of offshore versus onshore delivery. And one thing we've learned is something that we all viewed as very difficult or very unmanageable turned out to be something that actually could help reduce costs. That's the positive side. That's the half full cup view, and I think customers appreciated that. And I also think that will be a fundamental part of how IT projects will continue to be delivered, even in the hopefully soon post-pandemic world. I think many of the things we do, like working from home, will stay with us in a unforced manner, not because we have to, but because they bring value to us. And I think we'll see more of hybrid scenarios, whether in delivery, whether in working, whether in interaction, and these things. The pandemic is something that was not very pleasant. It's a human tragedy. It's a economic. It had very high economic impact on the whole world, on individuals, on professionals. But in every crisis, there is some sort of silver lining, and these are the things I see as silver lining. Plus, I also see the fact that we have realized as the business community and as individuals as well, we have realized that we can and we should do better going forward. We should be better prepared, and we also realized that technology can play a critical role, a fundamental role in that preparedness. I think these are all positives we can look back at and carry with us forward.
It is amazing to think of the sort of speed that businesses reacted with to the pandemic. I think I saw a study earlier this week that said the whole sort of work from home dynamic had moved forward maybe 5 or 6 years at the beginning of the panic, just in the space of sort of 8 weeks or so. So businesses were forced to implement work from home programs that would have previously taken them years to set up, but you have to just be able to switch it on like that. Like you say, it's nice to think that there might be some positives to take forward out of the pandemic, and that now perhaps workforces will be better prepared for things like this in the future.
Absolutely. I want to go back to the point you just mentioned, because I think it embodies the learnings we've had. You've said the businesses had to react in days and weeks, while they were probably accustomed to be reacting in months and years. Technology and months and years are a very common correlation, right? We've always looked at technology projects as multi-year projects. And that is something that will have to change, and in my opinion, will definitely change. If you look at fundamentally what the pandemic is, it's a crisis that required everybody to change, and to change fast. That also applies to I like to call these kind of things black swans, because they're unpredictable and took us all by surprise. And the world is a producer of black swans. We cannot scenarios we cannot imagine. And by the way, a black swan is not necessarily a negative scenario, because a black swan could be something that is viewed as an opportunity as well. The point is, the way we prepare ourselves to deal with a crisis or an opportunity is create an infinite capacity to absorb change quickly. Another word for agility. So we need to be agile as organizations, and I also extend that to the individual. And I think also agility, from a business context at least, the agility that's required, this capacity to change, between codes, infinite capacity to change quickly, is something that can only be given and attained by using the right technology. And that sort of changes what we mean by digital transformation. We've been talking about digital transformation for a very long time, and it's not something new. And we've created so many different lenses to what the digital transformation is. At one point in time, we were saying is that if you put the customer at the center of everything you do, you are heading towards the digital transformation. Then we were saying if you adopt a technology platform, then that's digital transformation. And all these are true. I'm not saying that they're not true associations with transformation, but they are associations. I think the essence of real digital transformation is to use technology in order to cope constantly, quickly with change. And that makes you not just a smart organization, not just a digital transformed organization, but a resilient organization that can look at a crisis, react quickly, look at an opportunity, grab it quickly, and ensure business continuity going forward. And when I say an organization, you can project that on a city, on a country, on a public organization, on a private organization, and the broader view of what an organization is.
Perfect. Thanks, Rami. So just to sort of wrap our discussion up, what are the things that you're looking forward to most as we move into 2021? What are the challenges that you see emerging over the next 12 months or so?
Yeah, I think a core challenge going forward is planning. Just on the last discussion, we were talking about what a transformation is, and we do not see the acceptance of transforming as a challenge, because everybody has realized the need and the quite urgent need to transform in the context of what we just talked about, in the context of what the pandemic taught us the hard way. What the challenge that this brings about is how to go about it. The realization is there, but how do I start? How do I take the first step? How do I avoid costly missteps along the way? And I think that brings about a transformation planning challenge, which starts essentially with understanding our starting point. Any organization, in order to take proper and solid steps toward transforming towards this image of a resilient, smart organization, needs to know the starting point and needs to really analyze where they are in every aspect of what constitutes an organization. I'm talking strategy, I'm talking processes, I'm talking services that are offered, I'm talking the market that they operate in, risks, people, technology obviously is a crucial component of that. If you look at all these constituents and you start analyzing them and take a snapshot of them in their interconnectedness today, and then start charting the changes that you need to see in this snapshot in the future, and start running simulations, scenarios. That's something we actually help organizations do, and have been doing it for a while with many organizations that have even before the pandemic times, that have had this insatiable appetite for continuous change. And I think government in this region is different in that sense, because they embrace change. They encourage change, and the leadership the leadership of this region has always driven the region towards change, and we've been quite proud to have participated in this journey of change in this region, and to have contributed in our part of what that change means. So back to your question, I think planning and continuous planning not as a finite assignment, but a continuous planning as you progress in your journey is essential, and an essential ingredient of success going forward.